Morning, you are listening to So Hot right now with me, Sophie, and we're talking illusions this morning. Is it brain fail? Is it magic? Or is it just an insight into our cognitive reality? Today we're speaking to Dr. Sarah McIntyre, a scientist working at Western Sydney University in the field of sensory neuroscience. Dr. McIntyre was part of a group of scientists that demonstrated fascinating illusions related to cognitive neuroscience and computational, I think I said that right, science last night at 107 projects in Redfern. It showcased an array of illusory fun, but at the heart of it lies deep revelations about our reality and the shortcuts of our design. Good morning, Sarah. How are you?
Hi, good. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Now, for people who missed out last night, what happened exactly?
So I guess one of the things we were trying to do with this Night of Illusions is to really show people things that might be difficult for them to otherwise see. So my area is touch perception, and it's really hard to demonstrate tactile illusions unless you can actually come and experience them and have someone show you how to do that. But of course we had some other visual illusions as well. So one of the ones that we demonstrated is a bit of a classic, the rubber hand illusion.
Right.
Where you have a rubber hand and you have your real hand, you sort of line it up so it's sort of nearby, but you cover your vision of the real hand, but you can see the rubber hand, and the demonstrator will stroke both the fake hand and the real hand with a brush. And if the brush strokes are nicely synchronized and you're watching the fake hand and feeling the brushes on your real hand, you start to feel as if the rubber hand is your hand. So, yeah, that's one of them. Yeah.
So, scientifically speaking, how does that all work? How does your brain get tricked into that, even though it knows you're being told it's an illusion?
Yeah, so really, I think the brain has actually all sorts of assumptions about how the world is, and it doesn't always consult us, really. And so if you have a visual input and a tactile input that's telling you something, and they kind of match up, and there's nothing really conflicting with that, then that your brain is going to try and sort of solve the problem of what's actually going on. And even if you know that that's rubber hand is not your real hand, those inputs are lining up and telling you that that's where your hand is.
What else are we still learning about human perception in this way?
So I guess one of the things that we're really trying to do is to figure out how space and time are also interpreted by the brain. And so another example of an illusion that we showed is what we call a cutaneous rabbit illusion. And we have, what this involves is a sequence of taps along the arm, and it taps twice in one location and then once in another location quite fast, so and it feels like movement across the skin. It feels like 3 different locations. So even though it's only tapping 2 different locations, there are 3 taps, and the second tap in the first location is sort of displaced towards the middle. And so this is like a distortion of the space and time that we get in this illusion. And it's really telling us about how we have these sort of dedicated processes in the brain for processing movement across the skin. And yeah, again, there are these assumptions about what kind of experiences we are expecting to get.
Yeah. So for people who experience this, is it everybody feels it, or is it, some people just realise that no, that's not happening, or...
Yeah, not everybody gets all these illusions, actually, and it's always a little bit disappointing at these nights when someone doesn't get it.
It will be disappointing, but is it kind of interesting to see how different people react?
Yeah, actually, absolutely. It's kind of a great opportunity for us at these events, because we get so many people coming through, and we get to actually get a bit of a sense of the variety of sensory experiences that people had. So I think with the cutaneous rabbit illusion, maybe just off the top of my head, probably about 80% of people, 90% of people got it as sort of as expected. But some people actually perceived it going in the opposite direction.
Oh, wow.
And I can't explain that, actually. And,
that's your next PhD.
yeah. And some people also just perceived it accurately. And yeah, so I guess that they maybe have their prior expectations are not quite so dominant compared to their ability to resolve particular locations on the art.
Kind of like reminds me of like hypnotism and how some people are more perceptive to it, and people others, they're just like, you see the hypnotist go, you out, you are just going to ruin it for everyone else.
That's right, yeah.
So are they going to have like more events like this in the future for night illusions?
I think we all had a really good time, and we definitely considered doing that. Certainly we had a huge response last night. It was a lot busier than we expected, so sorry to anyone who was left waiting outside.
It's what happens when it's National Science Week and you bring it in with art and design.
That's right, yeah.
But so will you be more standalone events instead of just happening through like National Science Week, do you think? It seems to be a much growing more people more interested in how science kind of like intersects with the arts of design. Yeah,
it's absolutely. That's something I'm quite enthusiastic about, and something I've seen a lot of artists are quite enthusiastic to get in touch with scientists, and I think this is a good area because artists are obviously very interested in manipulating our perceptions and through their art, and if scientists can give them new tools to do that,